is.
We got Davy and Ashley here in the studio from Vane. Welcome, guys.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
It's great to be here.
You're from the Bay Area. Now, of course, the first question that comes to mind was, were you around when the quake hit?
No, we weren't around, luckily. But we were in Atlanta, actually, the night it hit. We were just going to play a show with Bang Tango. We're just ready to go on stage. We're all psyched up to play. And it was about a minute before we were going on, and we were on our bus, and he was watching the start of the World Series, and they announced it. And it was just like, we just went, and it just seemed like the whole place was devastated because they didn't really give any details. We were like, are we going to go on or what? And our manager lives like right in the Haight-Ashbury, and so many of our friends. We were a little scared at first, but we said, hey, we got to play. So we just said, let's forget about it. And if our manager's even half alive, she's going to want us to play. So we went out there and just played, and it was a good show because one of the stagehands made a comment, just because their city got destroyed didn't mean they had to destroy our town.
Besides earthquakes, Bay Area is known for a lot of thrash bands.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you guys to get gigs in the beginning in the area, or?
No, it wasn't really that hard. It was like a little bit different at first because, there were some bands that were like us playing, like Jet Boy had played and then they'd moved to LA, but it's mostly thrash, but our music was a lot heavier, so even if someone saw a picture of us and we didn't really have a thrash look or anything, they'd come check it out because they heard we could play guitars, and we were a hard rock band. Right. So in some of our first gigs in the big clubs were like with Guns N' Roses and Poison and stuff, so we had some pretty good first shots and cherry bombs. So, and then, people, heard about that we were a heavy metal band. There was lots of girls at our show. We had guys from Testament and,
cool.
all the thrash bands hanging out at our shows anyway, so.
So, Ashley, were you ever tempted to move south to LA at all?
We thought about it, but then we had built up such a loyal following in the Bay Area. We didn't want to abandon them because we had seen what other bands had done, and they just lost their following in San Francisco.
Right.
And why take a chance in LA when we have a good following in the Bay Area and we could make some noise up there?
I hear you. Well, we'll talk more in a little bit. We're going to play some videos right now. We got some good friends of yours, in fact. Skid Row.
All right, cool.
The ball continues on through the night. We got Ashley and Davy from Vane with us in the studio. We're going to roll your brand new video in a second.
Great.
Producing, you've produced some things in the past, haven't you?
I produced 2 albums for a really heavy thrash band called Death Angel, and I produced about every demo tape from every thrash band in San Francisco. Yeah. That's how I stayed alive for the last 2 years. So I'm really, and I co-produced our album.
I was going to say, because you were no stranger to producing, so So when you went in, and of course you'd done other demos, other bands, was it hard to do your own
It was the hardest ever. It was just like, I was in there pulling my hair out the whole time. So we had a producer, Paul Northfield, was, the main producer, and he kind of had the final say, but it's just like I was so worried about every detail, everything. We did the record almost completely live, so it's hard to make it, sound really big with just like one take of everything, everyone playing together and just going, okay, that's it, one guitar left, one guitar right, me singing with the band, and we listen to it and go, okay, that's it, what are we going to do now? It's like, so it's just like, I wanted all the vocals to sound right. I didn't want anything to sound too big or too dated, or because I'd done a lot of tricks in the past with thrash bands where I made the background vocals to sound like anthems, and I wanted to sound real. I wanted to sound just like Vane live and keeping the energy. So it was definitely a lot harder than producing someone else. You can make a decision much quicker when you produce someone else going, yeah, that's great, no problem, let's move on. But when it's yourself, you go, I could do it better.
And he drove us all nuts.
I was just going to say, tell me, how was he as a producer?
Oh, it was crazy because he'd have to make sure that everybody was happy with, what was coming out on tape. And, he'd be running around, oh, is it good enough? Do you think it's too much this? Do you think it's too much that? Oh, no. What do you think? What do you think? And then, it was just like driving us nuts.
But no big fights broke out.
No fights.
No fights.
I'm almost too much of a diplomat. I don't like it. I feel bad if, like, even one member of the band was just going, I think it's cool, but I don't dig it. Then I'd feel like my mission was to have it sound like I want it to sound, have the band happy, the producer happy, just have everything great. And it's hard to do that with a record. It's just like getting, 5 guys and a different guy to give them all a paintbrush and go paint that. That's what recording is.
But he did a good job. We're proud of him. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're going to check out some of the product right now. We got the video for Beat the Bull. Anything you want to say quickly about the video before we lead into it?
It's done in San Francisco. All the outside shots are done right outside Broadway, where we play in the Stone, and the 2 snakes in it are a couple of my pets, Cleo and Caesar. So
And they're with you on the tour bus, in fact.
No, Spot is.
Oh, Spot. Okay,
They're back home. They're too big of stars. They need their own bus. You know, they won't share a bus with any crew members.
Here we go. This is Vane, Beat the Bullet. Back, we still have Ashley and Davy here from Vane, and I got to tell you, when these guys walked in, all of a sudden I heard a language which I recognized. You were speaking Dutch to me, which was like so crazy. Now, your parents are originally from Holland?
Yeah, my mom. She was actually a singer in Holland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she toured, you know, all through Europe, and my dad met her over there, saw her singing. Then she moved back over here and gave up the career. And
I'm telling you, Dutch girls do rule.
yeah, they're happy.
I know firsthand.
Yeah.
Dus we zouden gewoon iets in het Nederlands kunnen zeggen en het maakt niet uit en niemand zou het begrijpen.
Ja, niemand weet wat we zeggen, you know.
Yeah. That was about your tour manager over there. Yeah. So, speaking of touring, you guys are going out with Skid Row?
In Europe, or in England, we're playing. Right now, we're headlining our own club tour, and then in about 2 weeks, we're heading over there and playing with them. We're really excited about it because we think like we're out of the new bands, like probably one of our favorite new bands, and come out in a long time.
So, just a word of advice: if Sebastian starts to ramble, just tell him to shut up. He won't mind.
Okay.
You know, it's just like
I have a feeling Davy can keep up with him. So
I've got a big mouth too. You know?
All right. Well, it's good having you guys here. Thanks a lot for dropping by.
Man.
Good luck. We'll see you
thanks
soon.
for having us.
When you're in the area, just come on by.
All right, man.
Okay? We're going to close off now with the debut from the new Bad